vampires, villains, and Videodromes. It's time to get our horror on. Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 11 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer the Dream Warrior Strand. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. You can catch us weekly on all major podcasting services and on YouTube. Jennifer, how has your week been?
My week's been pretty good, pretty busy. My cat had some surgery. Turns out she's got little kitty breast cancer. So
Really?
yeah,
That's terrible.
So I know, it was so out of the blue. We picked her up. There was a little lump. We took her straight to the vet. They're like, okay, there's something there. It doesn't look safe. So they went in to take it out, and it turns out there was a lot of stuff in there. So this poor little cat has just basically been ripped open and toyed around with. So she's had a little cone on all week because she cannot be trusted. And
no cats can be trusted with stitches.
No cats can be trusted with stitches. She's got a history of ripping out stitches as well. So yeah. So it's been a lot of sleepless nights while she staggers around with a cone trying to not bash into everything. And
is it a heavy cone, so like her head gets weighed down?
Not even a heavy cone. She's just a little drugged out and just can't.
Oh,
Little possum, I know. She's so cute. So aside from that, I've been binge watching a TV show called Close Enough. So if you've seen the regular show, it's this guy's new series.
Oh, like a cartoon?
Yes, it is. I love cartoons. I can't recommend it enough. It's basically two adults who are trying to sort of navigate going from their like 20s to their 30s with a small child and living with another couple, like a divorced couple. Jason Mantzoukas is in it as well. Mantzoukas? Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He does a voice in it as well, and basically plays himself. It's really funny. It's very witty, and it hits real close to home as I sort of myself hit my mid-30s. It's all very rough.
He's doing a whole bunch of stuff like this, if you notice, because he did the gospel, what was it called? The something gospels as well. That crazy weird cartoon podcast thing that he did.
Oh, yeah.
Midnight Gospels. And,
that's right.
Yeah, he's I reckon he's having feels like a bit of a midnight life crisis, or he just really wants to do something that's not for kids anymore.
Yeah, probably. Because, I mean, he does Big Mouth as well, so.
Is that him?
Well, Jason Mantzoukas, or are we talking about the other guy?
I don't know, any of them. There's two of them. I never know which one's which. Pendleton Ward is one of them. Is that his name?
Oh, Pendleton Ward's the guy that does the Midnight Gospel one.
Yeah, he's definitely going through some existential crisis.
Oh, yeah. And aside from that, my Halloween 3 figure set finally arrived. It was due to come out in February, but delays. So that arrived on Friday. I haven't had a chance to take a photo of it, but it's basically like a 3-figure set. All the little kids wearing the masks.
The masks.
And the masks. So the witch, the skull, and the pumpkin. And then it's got like interchangeable masks where they're just, gushing with snakes and grossness. And
cockroaches coming out of their eyes and stuff.
Yeah. It's such a cool figure set. I'm very, very excited.
But it is missing a Tom Atkins figure.
Yeah, look, I've had a couple of people like, oh, hey, did you know there's a Tom Atkins figure? And I'm like, yeah, it's like $250 on eBay currently.
It's one of those figures. I've got a problem with figures that wear real clothes. I don't like it.
I'm not a fan either. And that's the one thing I've got negative to say about the Halloween figures is they are wearing cloth clothes.
Yeah.
I've got a Ghostface figure coming next month, which is also cloth, but I can give that one leeway because it still looks really good.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. And how about you? How's your week?
Well, this week my parents rang me up and they're like, we've got all these model kits here. Do you want them? I'm like, yeah. And there was 3 of them. There was an Alien 3 model kit. Then there was an Alien model kit from 1985. And there's in its box, there's a Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday model kit done by Screamin'. Do you know them?
No.
Or Top? I don't know. Yodu?
No, I don't know them.
Anyhow, it's all there. I'm going to give it a paint up. I might put this on our I've never done any of this stuff before. I'm going to try and wing it. But inside, it's got
Yeah.
all the instructions. It's got everything, but it's also got like a Jason. It's got a Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday trading card in there from them.
Oh, very nice.
And yeah, and I can subscribe to the Screamin' T-shirt club and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Uh,
Send that my way. I want to join that club.
You would have joined it. I'm sure that club does not exist. So I'm happy with that. So I might put up my progression shots of me trying to do a model for the first time and going through it on our thing. At the moment, I'm going to have to do an undercoat first or primer or whatever they call it, and then I'll go from there. I'm just going to really hodgepodge a dry brush. That's all I'm going to do.
Sure.
And the other thing I did this week is I played D&D for the first time.
Oh, how'd you find it?
Basically, it was pretty good because we had a good DM. So we did it like as an episode for Hack the Dino. We played a traditional fantasy one, D&D like normal. As like trying to get ready for our new show that we're doing. We're doing the Cyberpunk Red tabletop game. So which is what the Cyberpunk video game is based on, coming up.
Yes.
So
that was very, very well, actually. So
what's that?
That feels very well. I hope you've got yourselves a copy.
I haven't at the moment, but yeah. I also got like Ghost of Tsushima, however they say.
Oh, yeah.
I had a little go of that, and that was great fun.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it's really good.
Yeah, better than I thought it was going to be. I'm so used to samurai games being really ultimately hard after like all these, Dark Souls-like ones that have come out. But it was nice to not have to think as much. But yeah.
I think the last samurai game I played was the Shadow Warriors one that you recommended to me, and I played it and I freaking loved it.
Did you finish it, the first one?
I did.
Yeah, the second one's kind of not very good though. Yeah, Shadow Warriors isn't. You wouldn't really call that a samurai game. You'd call that like a B grade like horror movie, like. But it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. The chopping up and limb collecting and that is amazing. Yeah. Are you there, Jen?
And play that.
Yeah, cool.
I'm here.
All right, so let's get on to what we've been watching, I reckon.
Nice. Cool. Well, would you like to start?
Yes, I will start. So I first up this week, I decided I was going to watch Life Force from 1985 by a good old mate, Tobe Hooper, who we've been like kind of getting a bit deep into recently, haven't we? Like,
oh yeah.
So we did Funhouse as one. He did Funhouse. He also did Poltergeist. He directed Poltergeist, but like I looked into it a little bit, and apparently Steven Spielberg came out and said like I basically directed Poltergeist. He hardly had anything to do with it. So Tobe decided, bugger you, mate. I'll show you I can make a great movie, and he decided to make Life Force.
Yep.
To show that he was really good at making films. But on the other hand, he also made one of my favorite films of all time. He made Invaders from Mars, like I'm pretty sure it's a remake, like in whenever he did it, 1986 or 7 or something like that. But which I'm going to investigate as well. Again, the story of Life Force. I'm just going to do this real quick. The story because it's the most overcomplicated film of the most simple story in the world.
Sure.
A bunch. So Halley's Comet's going past, as we all remember. Do you remember Halley's Comet going past, Jen?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, I went and saw it. I've seen Halley's Comet. And in real life, that's great. Halley's Comet's going past, and in the tail of Halley's Comet, a space shuttle finds an alien spaceship. They go in there, and I'm just going to do this as a quick version. They find a lady in there. They take her back to Earth. She basically is a vampire who sucks the life force out of people. She can also exist in your consciousness and travel between people. And each time she goes into someone, she leaves a bit of herself in there or something like that. But when she sucks the life force out of you, you turn into like a husk, like, corpse, like dried up mummified corpse. But then you come back alive as a zombie and you've got an hour. You can do it again. You can do it to someone to get back to normal. But then you have to keep doing it because in an hour you're going to die again. So you're doomed. And then these life forces come out, and as soon as the zombie dies, the life force is like they turn to dust. The life force is released, and then it goes up. It goes through her, and then up into the spaceship, which it powers. Right. Yep. I've
got that.
So that's the basis of it. So straight away, this is not based on the NES game of the same name of Life Force, which was a great sideways shooty spaceship one. So as soon as they go into the ship at the start, you notice straight away that this is just the biggest alien ripoff in the world. Like the ship looks like Giga's art everywhere, but it's jumping around everywhere. And the space scenes look so bad. They're just like, you can see the wires holding the astronauts up. And all they're doing, all they're doing is just moving slowly, and then the shots are just filmed up, are just put upside down and stuff like that. That's all they are. Like, it's amazing. So you can see that gravity's going the wrong directions and stuff. So, and that's kind of cool. And then so apart from being like ridiculously like an alien ripoff, all the acting in it is super cheesy, which actually makes it kind of enjoyable to watch. You know those films where characters answer too quickly? Like, you know, when someone asks a question and it's like those old 1940s movies where they just answer, their lines are just delivered as soon as the other person stops talking and they say them really fast. Like, we have to get out of here. Yes, we do. What do we do? I don't know. Like, and it's just like, oh God, this is amazing. And so the main character is a guy that was on the space shuttle. He at the start, he gets back to Earth and he has a telepathic link with this girl. And I forgot to mention as well that she is naked for the whole film. And it shows boobs, it shows vajuju, it shows everything. And she's
and that's 80s boobs too, my friend. 80s boobs.
This is this girl is like a 19-year-old actress who did like one other thing after that, and she is quite beautiful. But her power, this is where it starts to get weird. Her power is that she is so beautiful that men can't resist her, and it starts to be this like full just like commentary on basically it's like a woman hating film. Like the poor white man.
It sounds like Species.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like Species. It is very much, even with Species, with the Giga stuff. Like, so these poor white men are getting seduced by this evil woman, and there's even scenes where, because the guy's telepathic, right? Who's like the main guy. If she's been in a person and moved on, he can read their thoughts, and he grabs this girl and he's like, she may look scared, but she wants me to hurt her. She's a sadomasochist. She wants me to hurt her. So he just starts beating her up. And like, I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, so yeah, and you get this real like thing of these like poor white men, and you know, it's not fair that women are beautiful. It's not fair if like, you know, they manipulate us into doing bad things. And I was like, oh God, this is bad. But then what really saved it is the effects are chronically good. They're done by the guy, John, I can never say this guy's name, John Zistra or something. Dykkstra. He's the special effects guy from Star Wars. So he did all the effects and stuff. So there are full body animatronic zombies in it that like...
Yeah.
And they look amazing. Their eyes are moving, their mouths, their fingers, they're moving around, and like, but they're zombies, but they're also vampires. Who knows what they are? So this basically this film has aliens, it has vampires, it has zombies, and it has pre-Picard Patrick Stewart in it.
Yes.
And he plays a doctor in a mental institution that was like, so if this lady's been around you, if she's in a body and she's been around other people, she can just transfer into the other body. So, you can't trust anyone. So it's got a little bit of a Thing vibe to it. And there's a scene with like Picard, and as soon as Picard comes into the film, that's when it kicks into like 1,000 k's an hour. It's just like amazing. There's a scene where like, which is chronically good. Like they're in a helicopter. They got Picard unconscious because they sedate him, which traps her in his mind. Which makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And he wakes up with something, and she tries to pull herself out, and all blood starts coming out of Picard's mouth and eyes, which is out of a dummy, but it's put in reverse, so the blood's flying upwards, and it forms a blob in there, and it makes a blood version of her, and it's wicked. I'm like, the effects in here are awesome, and every time like the life force bursts out of someone, it looks like the ghost out of Ghostbusters. You know that effect? Like, and then suddenly London goes post-apocalyptic. everyone in London is like, it's all on fire. They've just set fire to 1 million sets. It's so good. There's this one main character which I haven't mentioned who is like an SAS dude who is the main kind of badass, and he's hilarious. And he basically runs through he's like the action hero dude. He's shooting zombies. He's flying helicopters around. He's like, people exploding everywhere at the end. There's aliens. There's like, the ship is coming down to Earth. It's all happening and it's so good. And then they fight this zombie, this, because there's like, they bring the lady back to Earth, and there's two men as well who hardly even have a role at all. He fights one of them, and he turns into a giant alien vampire bat, and then explodes, and like it just goes on and on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on in this film.
Oh, dude, there's so much, and every scene is so overly complicated that it doesn't have to be. So they'll have scenes like, they're in the helicopter and they want to call the base, and they're like, "Can you call the base?" And the guy on the helicopter goes, "Oh, there's a bit of interference. Maybe I'll patch through to this place and do this. No, we can't get through. Hang on, I've done it." And there's no reason for so much of the complications in every scene. You could have just gone, "Yeah, here they are here." You know what I mean? Like, I got through to them. There was no reason for this whole scene of this guy talking how he can't get through and now he can. There's heaps of that stuff.
Was it building a sense of tension and I don't know.
Yeah, there's a hilarious.
Trying to make it tense.
There's hilarious scientists that just say ridiculous things like.
I love scientists in film.
There's one bit where they ring a scientist who's discovered how to kill these vampires, and on the phone, and he's like, "Well, it's just like how you kill regular traditionally kill vampires. You have to impale them on a lead-covered stake." Not through the heart, but 2 inches below the heart. And I'm like, when is that the normal way to kill a vampire?
That's not a thing.
I know, it's so good.
Revoke the science license, no.
Yeah, and I was just looking at them going, that's not the run-of-the-mill way to, you know what I mean? They just make everything so, but it's so worth watching. Like, at first I was like, oh, nah, but the range of effects and the range of funny gore effects, like the just ideas that they've got. He was just trying to show that he can make a really creative thing, and it really shows that he can't. It was wicked though.
Hooper, he is a fantastic director, but
is he though?
Well, this is the question: is he though? Like, Poltergeist is a good film,
clearly,
I'm behind. I don't know. I side with Tobe on this one. Yeah, so it's got Steven Spielberg's prints all over it, but I don't know. Like, I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that is hands down his best film.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he did, apparently. I don't know. Did he do number 1?
No, he did the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently this film, Life Force, he signed a 3 movie deal with whoever he did it with, and the second film with Texas Chainsaw 2. So if he hadn't done this movie, we probably wouldn't have got Texas Chainsaw 2. And we all know that we need that. All his films have that kind of vibe to them. Do you know, they're kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, as in
they're very gritty.
They're gritty, but they're also like, they've got a feeling to them that they're really in like an else world of not real life.
And it's kind of dirty over there too, I think.
Yeah, just weird, like weird. But Invaders from Mars was like my favorite film growing up. I mean, my dad loved it. It's such a good film. There's so much alien destruction, and the military comes in, and all that stuff as a kid you want soldiers shooting aliens, and I'm gonna revisit that one definitely. But yeah, overall, I give it like a 2 out of 10, a 2 out of 5. But I give it a massive love. You know what I mean? I give it a heart next to that, which is, the seal of approval. It's crap, but it's crap fun. It's fun crap.
That's what films I love the most are the films. It doesn't have to have a 5-star rating. Oh. Sometimes it's a 1 star, but I fucking love it. That's all that matters.
And the effects just drive this film so much. Like, there's pretty much like the scene of the worst vampire in history. Like, he turns, like the vampire turns. The guy goes from a zombie, turns into the vampire, and then looks at someone, runs at them, and he hits a fence and just explodes into dust. He's probably alive for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, you're the worst vampire known to man. Like, you may be the shortest lived vampire in any film. Like,
Oh, so good.
but
Yeah. All right, I'll give it a go.
yeah, definitely give it a go. And then I also watched Ready or Not this week. This is not my second review because you've already talked about this. And you talked it up so much, I just wanted to watch it, and it did not disappoint. It's such a fun film.
So
Anyone get out there? If you like stuff, it reminded me of Knives Out, but more horrible.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, it had that feeling to it. It might be just because it's in the house with a whole bunch of big cast of people. Great film. Worth watching. Super. The only problem I had with it is there were some really mist-colored scenes in it. So you'd have some really warm shots, and then it would cut to another shot that was very green. Like, as in, like, the colouring was quite out. And it happened a lot. I can forgive that maybe once, but it happened like 5 or 6 times to me, and it really jarred me out of... But maybe that's me being really scrutinising on my film quality, because, I mean, the film quality of Life Force is wicked. It's like, you know, it's on beautiful, like, film, old school film. It looks great, and it's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, Ready or Not, everyone should have a go. What did you watch, Jen?
Definitely. Okay, so I watched a film called Phantom of the Paradise. So it's 1974, directed by Brian De Palma, who we all know did Scarface.
I didn't know that, but cool.
Okay. This film is a rock opera. So this was kind of like a Rocky Horror before the Rocky Horror
existed. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I think Liz got about 5 minutes into it and was basically like, I hate this, I'm leaving, and left, which was fantastic. So I just enjoyed this film so much. So basically, how do I even describe it? So there's this Juicy Fruit band, and basically they've been signed, they're super popular, and this poor guy his name's Winslow. He's a beautiful musician. He basically creates this rock opera based on Faust, and it gets stolen.
Oh dear. What do you mean stolen? Like the rights or the script?
So it gets stolen by this music producer called Swan, who is played by Paul Williams. Paul Williams also did a lot of the music. He composed everything. But so this poor boy, he has his stuff stolen. He thinks that it's been taken, and he's just going to have a listen, and he's going to sign him, and everything's going to be okay. It is not. He comes and approaches the guy who was holding auditions with all these women to sing his opera. And he's like so super mad about it, and he comes across this young girl. Her name is Phoenix, played by Jessica Harper, who you may or may not recognize from Suspiria. And he's basically like, you have a beautiful voice. You are the only person I want singing my music.
Yeah.
And of course, like, the guy's like, hey, fuck you. This is mine. This isn't yours. Get out. And the poor guy gets thrown in jail. There's no real reason he goes to jail. And of course,
because the script said to.
The script sends him to jail. Yes. And then, so in jail, all his teeth are ripped out because it saves money, apparently. So now he's got all these silver teeth. He escapes jail.
Wait. Why did his teeth get ripped out?
Well, because it's in the budget. It's not in the budget. So healthcare is not in the budget. And the biggest problem they seem to have in jail is dental hygiene. So rather than just letting him keep all his teeth, they rip out all his teeth and replace them with these silver gnashes.
Which seems way more expensive.
It does, doesn't it? But hey, I'm not a dentist or a prison guard. So he escapes jail, because of course he does. And he goes back to the this record label place and has this horrific accident in which his face is like mangled in between a vinyl press.
Cool. So he's got a mangled face and silver teeth.
Yeah. So now he's disfigured. And then he ends up back in this place called the Paradise. So it's Paradise Theatre. It's where they're going to debut this rock opera. And he's basically like, nah, I'm going to fuck shit up. And this film has such a long-winded explanation to it for something that is just absolutely and utterly ridiculous.
Just revenge.
It is a whole revenge thing.
Are you going to mention what the guy looks like? Because I'm watching clips from it now.
Yeah, so he kind of looks like a peacock, sort of. He looks like a bird. He's wearing this mask. It actually reminds me, for some reason, I don't know why, it reminds me of Marilyn Manson from his Golden Age of Grotesque.
It's because he's got black lips. The mask looks very much like the Battle of the Planets mask. Like,
thank you. That's what it was. I was trying to think.
Yeah, the bird mask. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a helmet. It's more of a helmet.
Yeah, so his voice is all ruined, but for some reason he still sort of interacts with the guy called Swan who's like stolen everything from him, and is just a bit naive in the fact that he's still writing all this stuff that this guy's continuously stealing, and he's like none the wiser, but also then cottons on and is like, oh, no, I'll get you. So they decide to bring in this other musician to sing this opera instead of young Jessica Harper, and it is Garrett Graham, who we know from TerrorVision. He's the dad from TerrorVision.
Oh yeah, it is too.
I know, and he plays this amazing.
I'm watching it right now, like as you speak, the bit where he's singing on stage.
Yes, he plays a character called Beef.
And
he's Beef, and he's basically this just glorious
he's like
glam rock kind of god for the day, I guess.
He's like Frankenfurter. He feels like he's channeling Frankenfurter.
Pretty much. And he does have the gay kind of like, well, now this is stereotypical and not very appropriate, but it's just so endearing. And especially because watching him in TerrorVision, I'm just like, I love you and everything. The camera work in this film is very interesting as well. There was this scene with this split screen car bomb. So they're showing the Juicy Fruits performing on stage, but split down you're watching, the Phantom put a bomb in the car that they're about to get in. So you're just watching this all happen from different angles.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So it was so much fun, just absolutely ridiculous. It got a little bit too creepy because this was 1974, so this is peak. Everything's a bit, oversexed and it's like you walk into this weird orgy scene. It's about to be an orgy, and you kind of like, I don't really want to watch.
I don't really want to be here, like ever.
Yeah. Then
there's a scene in it where he just grabs a groupie out of the crowd and just throws them, and they're just a rag doll.
Yes, yeah, they pick up this groupie. They're going through, and they've got like this guitar, which is a sort of a sword, and they're going through the crowd, like lopping off hands and limbs and stuff. I don't necessarily think that this would be considered a horror, but at the same time, I'm like, yes, it's a horror. So basically, like, this guy's Swan has sold his soul to be the best record producer in the world. And then, of course, he has this contract with the Phantom, who there's this whole saga. There's like this Dorian Gray kind of saga behind it all as well. And
doesn't seem
he's
like any sense.
Watching him make out with the girl he loves for way too long. It's just a super uncomfortable scene that, 30 seconds is fine. This goes on for about 3 minutes, and you just feel really uncomfortable on behalf of everyone.
Oh my God.
But I definitely recommend. I wouldn't say it's better than Rocky Horror because I love Rocky Horror.
Yes,
I grew up with Rocky Horror. I know all the songs. I don't feel that these songs were quite super memorable. Like I since watching it on Saturday, I've not got any of the songs in my head. I couldn't tell you what any of them are. But it was so much fun. And I just recommend everyone go watch it. Go watch it right now.
Or at least watch the best bits on YouTube like I just did.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll post the trailer and see what y'all think, but I definitely recommend giving it a go, especially if you do like a musical.
I do. I watched Hamilton this week, but I don't want to talk about it.
I have not watched Hamilton this week.
It has nothing to do with horror.
Just despite being told that I need to watch Hamilton, and now I'm not going to watch Hamilton.
It's okay.
I'm sure.
Okay, so my second film for the week. Are you ready? Are you sitting down and you ready to hear me blabber on? I revisited Videodrome. 1983. David Cronenberg. We all know David Cronenberg. He's done everything. He's done what has he done? Like Naked Lunch and The Fly and Existence and just heaps of stuff. What else has he done? Oh, The Dead Zone. I really enjoyed The Dead Zone. Did you like that?
I don't think I've seen that.
He did the Friday the 13th, the series, one episode. That was it.
Nice.
You remember that Freddy's TV show?
Yes.
What was it called? Freddy's Nightmares?
Yes.
Oh, that was great. So weird. Anyhow, I digress. So Videodrome. For people who haven't seen Videodrome, I'm going to try and tell you what it's about without giving it away, because I can't give it away because I've watched this film so many times, but I'm still not 100% sure what it's about. But I'm really attracted to it for that reason, I think. It's one of those things where I feel like I know what it's about and I've got the idea of it, but I can't usually explain it to people, if you know what I mean. But in my mind, I know what it's about. But when it comes to actually putting it down, like, to someone, I don't know what it's about. Do you know what I mean?
That is 100% fair. This film it's great, but I can't fucking explain it to anyone.
It's quite the same. It's even the same with like one of my other favorite films is Naked Lunch, and it's the same.
Yeah.
Like, what is it really about? And it's up to you as the viewer to put it together. But there are enough clues there to do it. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm gonna get into it. Okay, so
do it.
It's about a guy. I can't remember his name. Straight up. Main character is what's the actor's name?
James Woods. He plays Max Wren.
Yeah. He's a TV executive of a small cable television thing. He is looking for new shows to show on his late night cable show. He hears about this TV show called his company intercepts a rogue TV signal, and when it comes up, it's this Videodrome show. Drome. I keep calling it Drome. Which is basically, for no better word, it's a snuff film. It's like people getting tortured and hurt. You don't know if it's real or anything like that. He becomes obsessed with it. He's watching it. Mm-hmm. He can't not think about it and stuff. So he tries to track down where Videodrome's coming from because he wants to play it on his cable show. And he has a wife, which is played by what's her name? Deborah Harry. Deborah Harry. They watch Videodrome together, and she becomes quite obsessed with it. And then she decides that she is going to audition for Videodrome, even though the only thing in Videodrome is people getting hurt. Mm-hmm. Then like stuff starts to stuff up in their minds, and then they track down the guy created Videodrome, and his name is Professor Oblivion, which is bloody amazing. He will not see anyone in person. He will only see them via video link. Mm-hmm. And he floats the idea that Videodrome TV is a new reality, while normal life is now a sub-reality. All right, this is what it starts getting about. So basically, it's really hard to explain from there. You later on find out that Professor Oblivion, so he sends you videotapes that you watch his responses, if you know what I mean. But in the tapes, he kind of talks to you. So he has printed his whole life onto billions of videotapes, and every answer is on there for every person and stuff like that. It's very weird. So he exists on tapes. Then you work out that there's a company that he went against Videodrome. That's why he got killed and put onto tapes or some shit. Then Videodrome, now the people who run Videodrome, send out assassins to kill the main character, or something. He goes there. And they record his mind, which is not. Then that's how they get episodes of Videodrome. Are people's hallucinations who have watched Videodrome. So if you watch Videodrome, it creates hallucinations which become reality, but also because that's the new reality, and then life becomes the sub-reality, and then they record those hallucinations, and that becomes the next episode of Videodrome or some shit. At one stage, he's watching Videodrome, and he gets his tape delivered to him from the Videodrome people. He's watching it, and then suddenly he has a vagina on his chest. He puts a gun into his chest vagina, and keeps it there for safekeeping. And then later on, someone shoves a videotape into him, one of the other Videodrome assassins, and that when you get a tape shoved into your chest, you are then programmed by Videodrome to kill people. He then goes and shoots some TV executives or something with a cancer gun, which is one of the best scenes. So the gun which he gets back out of his chest attaches to him through hallucinations, but because of its hallucinations, it becomes reality. He goes and shoots this guy with a cancer gun. He explodes into cancers, which is horrifying. And then we all know that so this is where it gets hard. I know it sounds hard up until now. So then he kind of leaves after killing this guy, and we all know it's like it says in it, to get out of being under the spell of Videodrome, the only way is to transform into the new flesh.
Yeah.
So there's a real classic line in it that he yells out when he kills this guy, death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh, which is I still don't understand. So basically, the only way to get out, so then he gets told by Deborah Harry, who is now in Videodrome, coming to him through hallucinations, through television, to kill himself. And then the film basically ends with him shooting himself in the head to escape Videodrome and to become the new flesh.
Yeah. Cool.
Just saying it just makes no sense. Yeah. This film is amazing. Every step of the way, it's one of those it's like why I love Beyond the Black Rainbow. You're constantly guessing. They're constantly trying things out. There's constant new amazingness happening. There's an amazing trailer. Go watch the official trailer if after this you've listened to this. It's got animations in it that aren't in the film. It doesn't make any sense. The Professor Oblivion at one point in the film, in his videotapes, basically predicts social media. He says in the future, avatars and fake names will be everyone. And that's the problem with Videodrome. So he basically predicts social media. It's full of government control conspiracy theories, but it is very relevant to now on and it's all about the insatiable thirst we have for violence through television and the romanticizing of violence for morale, kind of stuff like that. It's very laden with that kind of stuff, and it's worth watching. It's worth watching. Number one, as an art piece. It's worth watching for the effects. It's worth watching for just how crazy these films are that are coming out. And these were Cronenberg films. His films always hit these kind of notes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But you don't walk away from a Cronenberg film going, that was just a lovely piece of cinema.
Yeah, you kind
of walk away and you've got to talk about it or dissect it in your brain for an hour or two, and then even a week later you're like, what the fuck did I watch?
Yeah, you don't feel like you've just watched Emma or anything like
no.
that. You feel like you've come, yeah. And it's great. And that's what I love with a lot of these horror films. As I said, Black Rainbow, Naked Lunch, they leave you with something. They leave you with questions that there are answers have been thrown straight in your face. You haven't just digested them yet, and I really love that kind of stuff. It's just one of my favorites. It's like 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Yeah, yep. Just such a vibe, such a different thing. And what I said now, there'll be people who are you got it wrong, and I'm like, I know. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't matter. Well, let's open that up to a discussion then. Why did I get it wrong? What's your take on it? And also, I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
you could be wrong.
And there are bits.
So let's have a talk about it.
And there's so much happens in it. There's stuff I've missed out, and I have nowhere near kind of really spoiled this film because it's not about what happens. It's about the vibe and how it hands it to, how it serves it, what the plate that it puts down in front of you of the film of what it is what it is. It's not finishing the plate and what you've eaten. It's what they serve up to you, and that's
there's a lot to it. Like what you've described, I'm like that's probably what it is. But if I rewatch it and I go, okay, well, this is how I think it is, we could be here a week having this conversation, which would be great because, you know, I think it's going to be one of those films that is talked about for years and years and years to come.
Well, it's already proven it. It's in 83 till 2019.
Right. And I think it's going to become more and more relevant. So I feel that it could be one of those films that is sort of discussed in, you know, at uni. Who knows?
Yeah, there's some scenes in this film. There's so much gore and stuff that makes, like, you know, there's like TVs that explode and like intestines and come out of it, and you know, there's some really great effects as well. There's a bit where like the TV stretches out and it looks really good. Like it's all like projected onto the stretching out stuff, and it looks perfect. And like there's just heaps of stuff to this film. It's just every horror fan should watch it. If you're not massively into horror and maybe, you know, like ambiguous horror, you probably won't feel the vibe for this film. But if you're definitely into
watch it anyway.
Into your trips, if you know what I mean, like if you definitely don't want to take acid but want to feel like you're on acid, watch this.
Yeah, right. Did you know that Cronenberg's son Brandon Cronenberg has actually just made a film called The Possessor?
No, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? What's it about?
So it's about this assassin who I think she can sort of jump into the bodies of people close by to assassinate the target and not be sort of caught. A lot of people I know have watched it and they keep asking me if I've seen it. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I've heard nothing but really good things about it.
Is it a horror film?
It is a horror film, yes.
Should we watch it next week?
We should.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm very excited.
Down for some more Berg.
Yes.
Berg Jr.
Well, this is next generation Berg.
I wonder if he's like got the same vibe as his dad, like, you know, got, you know, visual effects and gore and weirdness.
I mean, from what I've heard, there is definitely a vibe there.
Excellent. What was your second film?
Okay, so I watched a 2019 film called Come to Daddy.
Daddy.
Not what you would think, but it's directed by Ant Timpson, who I think he did the Greasy Strangler movie, which I haven't watched yet, but I've heard disgusting things.
Greasy Strangler? Is that what it's called?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's called the Greasy Strangler.
Oh, that's horrible. I'm gonna look that up.
I've from what I've seen, I'm like, I'll get there when I'm in a better headspace. So this film was so much fun as well. Like, I had a really good week with my films this week. It's surprising. So after receiving a cryptic letter from his estranged father, Norval, played by Elijah Wood, travels to his dad's oceanfront home for what he hopes will be a positive experience. Turns out it's not. So much fucking shit happens in this film, and being that it was released in 2019, I'm not going to go too much into it. I don't want to give anything away. I 100% think that everyone should check this film out. Elijah Wood has basically got Lord of the Rings money, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants now.
And he does.
And he does, and it does not disappoint. Like, I love Elijah Wood, and I love watching him in pretty much everything he does, and just watching the sort of choices that he continues to make. Very similar to how Daniel Radcliffe is making excellent choices.
Radcliffe is the same. He just like he's just doing all these fun art films that may not make it big, but when you're writing on which one's Harry Potter?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, when you're right, I can never remember which one's which. I actually get these two confused all the time. A Hobbit or
most people do.
Yeah. When you're writing on Harry Potter money, you're not really thinking about your paycheck. You're just thinking about what my legacy on the world wants to be. And his legacy is just, I want to do some really fucking weird films, eh? Like Swiss Army Man. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, man.
I'll get there eventually. But yeah, so I mean, first out, I hate Elijah Wood's hair in this. He's just got some stupid fucking haircut, and it makes me hate him just a little bit. But not really, because he's fantastic. So he's got this terrible haircut and a terrible porn mustache. He's kind of like this. He's a little bit arrogant, sort of self-entitled rich boy.
His hair is sort of horrible, isn't it?
It is.
He's like a Nazi or something, or some weird Napoleon Dynamite extra.
Yeah. So he rocks up to his dad's house, and they don't get along. He keeps asking. He's like, "Why did you send me this letter? What happened? Like, why did you abandon me?" He's asking all the tough questions for an estranged son, and basically there is a huge argument, and his dad dies. He just has this heart attack and dies, like mid argument, mid fight. And the coroner comes. There's like this huge delay, and the morgue is basically overrun. So they're like, well, we'll take him in and embalm him, but we got to bring him back here for storage until your family can make plans.
Sure.
So then he has to live in this house with this dead body. And the girl's the coroner is explaining to him, you should really talk to him while he's there. You say all the things that you needed to say. It's very cathartic. You might be able to work through some stuff. And then there's a twist.
Oh, are you allowed to say that?
There is a twist. There's a twist, and I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Oh, but is saying there's a twist already ruining the twist? Because then people are waiting for a twist.
Not at all. No, you won't expect it. Because this film is such a slow burn. This is slow burning, but it's intriguing, and it keeps you sort of guessing, keeps you watching. Because I was getting to a point where I'm like, maybe I'm not in the mood for this, and then something happened, and
you're like, hang on.
I was like, okay, yes, and then it just gets brutally violent, and there is just. Because I was sort of thinking to myself, this is, I wouldn't really consider this horror. Oh wait, yeah, okay.
Yes, I would.
That's happening. Oh, yep, that's gonna hurt. Oh, fuck, that's a lot of blood. Oh, yep, okay, cool.
All right. Yeah,
it very well
dangling
written.
me along with a sausage of intrigue.
I know. I will say 2 words to you, Dan. Poop pen.
Okay. That means nothing to me now. I'm sure it will later.
Nothing to you now, but you're going to watch this film and you'll be like, oh my God, poop pen. Shit. Something's happening.
God to daddy.
Once again, there is Wang. All the films that I've been watching, there's so much Wang just happening.
I love a good
screen.
flopping Wang.
I know. You can't for so long.
I get obsessed with like seeing dicks in films because like for years there's always been the women flopping around their boobies, even getting out their vajujus. And then just like as soon as like one film, puts one Wang out there, as soon as bloody what's his name that was in the Shining remake thing? What's his name?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor flops out his chop once, and then all of a sudden, it's high art, and then all of a sudden the roller coaster flood of Wangs hit the screen. You got Dr. Manhattan flopping them around. You got everyone flopping them around, and it's just a glorious time to be in cinema.
There was a lot of,
and you can't go wrong. Like, I don't care what anyone says. If there's a dick on a screen, I am fixated on it. It is the most. I want to see as many other people's dicks as I can in life, so I compare it to my own.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. You are automatically drawn to dicks.
Yeah,
that's all I could see. This whole 5-minute sequence of this film. I'm not looking at what's happening. I'm looking at this fucking dick on screen, going,
Yeah, and that's that's not me. That's not saying what my sexual tendencies are, that I want to sleep with that dick or anything like that. It's just like, you got to admit, the most hypnotizing thing that can ever be on film is a penis.
It's kind of like in Pop Star where they're in the
car,
the limo, the dick just comes through the window.
Yeah, and
he's just like, that's all you can look at.
Or in Deathgasm, do you remember they mashed the guy's dick off with the whippersnipper? Oh man, that film's great.
Dicks on screen.
Anyhow, we digress. Sorry
We
for you people out there who don't want a 45-minute talk about how much I enjoy looking at dicks on screen, but you've gotten into this. You know what you get. You know what you're getting into when you listen to this podcast.
True. It's all about dicks on screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm not going to give too much away. I definitely think everyone should check this film out. It was a lot of fun, very well written, very witty, dark, comedic, and I absolutely hate that this movie made me Google e-boy, because that was the description. I was sort of reading up about it, and that's the description they gave Elijah Wood's character, and I don't fucking know what that is because I don't live my life on TikTok.
Why not?
Because I'm in my 30s and I have better things to do.
It's weird, like IMDb says this ant guy is a director, but it says he's the producer. He's known for producing it, but not directing it.
Interesting.
He made Turbo Kid as well.
I fucking love Turbo Kid.
You know, he's in pre-production for Turbo Kid 2.
Yes. Bring it.
Turbo Kid's such a strange film. It starts off like a kid's film and ends with like the most hideous violence.
Yeah, which sounds like every 80s kids film is, from what I can remember. But yeah, it's also from the production company, I think, that did The Witch.
Yeah, The Witch.
The Witch, which is also a fantastic film. So
yeah, that is a great film. That's like,
yeah,
that's up there. Like, not a feel-good film, and I'll probably never revisit it again. But like, I really enjoyed it when I was watching it, kind of thing. You know, one of those weird ones. Like, then again, I thought I'd never watch Beyond the Black Rainbow more than once, and I've watched it like 6 times now.
There you go. It's great. Yeah, so Come to Daddy, check it out. I highly recommend it.
You do? You know what I recommend?
What?
This week's homework. So every week, Jennifer and I set ourselves a movie to watch as homework, and then we review it together the following week. And this week we did Night of the Creeps from 1986 and delivered and directed by our old mate Fred Decker. Whoa.
Thrill me.
Fred Decker's known for stuff like RoboCop 3. He did make The Monster Squad, which is one of my all-time favourites. And he made like the 2018 The Predator.
I have not watched that one.
I did watch that and I quite enjoyed it, but it was just a Predator movie. It was better than AVPs. So yeah, man. Thrill me. That's all you can say about this film. This film is like, did you enjoy it, Jen? Because I know you hadn't seen it.
Hadn't seen it, and you know what, about 2 weeks ago I ordered a copy this movie on Blu-ray from JB Hi-Fi, and they texted me this morning to tell me that it had arrived.
And you'd already watched.
All right, so now I gotta go pick it up tomorrow.
Well, we can watch all the sweet extra bits.
Oh, and I will. I love special features. I fucking loved this film. This was so much fun. This is everything I love in a film.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you hadn't seen it, eh?
I know.
So I had seen this film. I'd actually seen it a bunch of times, but I just want to watch it again because I'm so much on a Tom Atkins kick at the moment. And how is he in this film? Like, he just only has lines. He doesn't have any dialogue.
Yeah. This is his favorite film that he's made as well. He's stated that this was his favorite film. So
yeah, well, in that doco we watched the other day when they talked about this film, he says that the thrill me line, he just made up on the spot and just kept using it throughout the whole film.
He said it like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. And then the last ending of it is like using the big power move line that the other character says is that line.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this film has everything. It has science fiction aliens. It has zombies. It has shotguns. It has like a flamethrowers. It has exploding hair. It has everything you need in a. What is it? Is it a tongue-in-cheek look at a zombie massacre? Like, what is this film? It's amazing. Like, did you watch it with your partner?
I did.
Did she hate it?
She did not. She really got into it, which is great.
Which is weird because she didn't like Halloween 3, which is kind of in the same vein.
I think this is a lot. This film did not take itself seriously.
Oh,
Halloween 3, I felt took itself, like, it was more serious. This was just ridiculousness from start to finish.
Did you want to set the scene on kind of on what happened, or do you want me to do that? Like,
okay.
You do it.
So in 1959, the film starts with some aliens.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening with those aliens, by the way? Because they are talking, and there's alien subtitles on the screen.
I know. So they're talking in alien, but then the subtitles are in alien. So there's no point to like. It looks like the Mandalorian or the Star Wars universe language that they're speaking.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And like, why are they there?
Well, there is absolutely no reason, but they are running through, like, they are chasing this little alien through the spaceship, and for some reason, he or she or whatever it is, has this container full of something that they chuck into a receptacle and basically blast it out into space. It then falls to Earth in 1959, so it has now become a 1950s B movie.
Wait, I just have to stop you there. The alien, which has the canister, doesn't have pupils in his eyes, saying that he's infected.
Right.
So the other aliens that are chasing him have eyes, I noticed, but he didn't have. He just had white eyes, like the zombies do. So he's an infected trying to get the virus out of the ship.
I love that. I was laughing my ass off. I did not even notice that. So
the aliens
look very much.
The aliens look pretty funny. Anyhow, next.
So then it's like 1959. It crashes into the Earth and just near a university, and one of the guys is infected. But also, while that's happening, there's a call on the radio about an escaped killer who is potentially going to murder people in the same college town. So it's becoming like 3 different films in one film.
Yeah, and it's rad. It's one of those like radio announcements, and it's just like, from the local mental institution, he has escaped. This guy, the axe murderer, has escaped the mental institution just down the road. I'm like, it's just urban legend, like that shit.
Yeah, so it's like, be on the lookout for like local guy like escapes a thing, and he's like he's got an axe, he's got all these things. It's hacking people up. So that sets the scene for when it jumps to 1986, and
which is when the film was made and the year it was set in.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So then jumps forward, and 2 geeky boys are trying to impress a girl, and they basically. The pledge prank is they've got to go in and do something, and they accidentally basically unfreeze the corpse of the boy from 1959 that was infected with the alien parasite, and zombie apocalypse kind of ensues. So
yeah, so it basically turns after that. After it's an alien film, then it's like a 1960s black and white horror film, and then it turns into a frat movie. And it's a full frat movie. Like, they're fleshed out characters that you follow these 2, like, losers, like, kind of doofuses trying to, like, get the girl. One of the kids is, what's his name? JC.
JC is he was a sweetheart. I loved him. He was so endearing.
It was kind of weird that he's a disabled character as well. I thought that was a very cool but strange call to do. So he's got, like, the walking, crutchy arm things. What are they? The ones that like you hold on to and you walk. And just to have him in there was a kind of a cool. I don't know if he was disabled in real life or they just added that in, or
I don't know.
But he was great. So
I loved him.
He just cared about the main character so much. His mate. He's a frat. He's a roommate. Yeah.
Who was originally Rusty Griswold in the European Vacation movie.
Oh, what, the main character?
Yeah.
The ginger?
Yep. He was I think he was the first Rusty Griswold.
But as you said, so they're to get into a fraternity there, they have to go and they're told they have to go and get a cadaver and dump it on some lawn. So naturally, of course, there's just a cadaver at the uni or a secret base that has been holding this frozen man since the 1960s, which has alien worms in it, which they bumblingly let out and cause the whole apocalypse.
Yeah.
And oh my God. And then, so all these murders start happening and they call in Tom Atkins.
Oh, yeah.
And he is a a detective, an alcoholic detective struggling with his past. And
Yes.
his line is that he always says is thrill me. So every scene when he's in, like, if he walks into a room with a bunch of cops, he's like, thrill me, ladies, what's going on? And just like, you're like, what's that mean? I don't care. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, shut up. Thrill him already.
So this reminded me heaps of Slither. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So-
Slither's such a good film.
I think Slither is actually a massive homage to this film. It's too similar.
I think so.
So these brain slugs, they jump into your mouth. They, when you see it and you go and open your mouth, they jump into your mouth and then they go into your brain and lay eggs, and then you turn into a zombie. So you die, but while you incubate them, and then eventually your head explodes and they all come out and et cetera, and keep doing that. But while you're incubating, you are a zombie, which makes it amazing.
This film was so much fun. Like, if you know me well, I love a B-grade movie. I like the old sort of 1950s, 1960s sci-fi horror kind of films, and this sort of scratched that itch a little bit so much that it made me want to go back and rewatch Psycho Beach Party. If you've ever watched that, Dan?
No, I don't even know what that is. It sounds amazing.
Oh, it does, and it is. You should check it out.
I will.
But this, oh my god, so much fun is to be had with this film. Like, the effects are fantastic for a film that was a flop.
Oh yeah.
At this, like, it did poorly. The effects were great. Like the cadavers coming out of the ground.
Yeah, so all the zombies come out. Like, so the slugs can animate something that's been dead for like if it's dead, they can animate it. It doesn't matter when it's died. If it died like 10 years ago, if it just died then, it's fine. They'll animate it. So there's all these like dogs and cats getting animated. There's like, and of course, it's got that little sub story of like the axe murderer, which I thought was a nice little spot in there. He comes back, of course, whatever. But yeah, the end scene in this is really what makes it. It's just like a full just a kill fest. So they go, you're saying here, they go get like a flamethrower.
Yeah, so they go to the local like armory, which Dick Miller is the cop who's running the armory. And for most, if you don't know who Dick Miller is, you do yourself. He's in everything.
He's in Gremlins as Mr. Futterman. That's the main one I think everyone knows him from.
Terminator. He was in that Evil Toons movie that I watched. He's in a lot of Herschel Gordon Lewis films. Basically,
he's never a main role.
No, that's fine. People have a very strong career playing a co-star, and I'm okay with that. And they're at the armory. They're trying to figure out what they need, and they discover that these slugs are, they don't like fire. So what are you going to get, and what's going to be at your local police armory? A flamethrower.
Why not?
Yes, that's right.
And then it's just a killing spree. So they shoot, they blow the people's heads off with a shotgun, and as their heads explode and the slugs come out, they flame them. And it's just this gore fest at the end of it, because all the jock meatheads, because it's on prom night, a formal night, so everyone's in like tuxedos and stuff. All the girls are getting ready. And then all the dates, all the men all turn into zombies. And you got that line from Tom Atkins, like, what is it? He goes, I got good news and bad news, ladies. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is...
bad news?
Yeah, the bad news is they're dead. Like, it's so good.
Just
and then
just the way he turns around with that cigarette in his mouth and he's like, they're dead.
He's almost happy.
He's so happy about it. He's going to fuck some shit up and he knows it.
And then shooting, smash, and there's like all these scenes. It really reminded me of the end of Brain Dead a little bit. Just that kind of like, it's all set in the one house. There's all these things happening, all just different scenes just to show all these different ways that they can kill these bloody meathead, bloody
there is that
frat
scene
boys
with the lawnmower as well. So
there's a lawnmower scene.
Oh my god, this movie was so much fun.
But yeah, it's definitely worth a look in if you're a horror fan. And you haven't seen this one, this is definitely one of the classic ones that will, it's going to be there forever. It's going to go down in history. They made a bloody Tom Atkins action figure for it. I really want it.
Yeah, which you can buy on eBay for $250.
Yeah, I want it.
No, me neither. So this this film, all the characters' names are sort of based on famous horror sci-fi directors. So there's like the kid's called Cronenberg, and another kid's called Hooper, and I think there's a Carpenter in there as well. So there's definitely a huge homage to all these great directors. And also it arguably takes place in the same universe as Monster Squad.
Yeah, because there's like something on the wall.
Yeah, there's a Monster Squad rules or something that's like Easter egged on the wall when the JC's in the toilet.
But they hadn't made it at this time, had they?
No. So arguably,
Precursor.
It's kind of like this is what I'm doing next, guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is cool. And there is also an unofficial sequel called Zombie Town. Well, alternatively, it was called Night of the Creeps 2, but has absolutely nothing to do with it. So I think that's probably why they changed the name to Zombie Town.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Why would you call it Night of the Creeps 2 if it had nothing to do with it?
I know.
Does it have head slugs in it, I wonder?
No, it was just a zombie film. But yeah, the alternate title was Night of the Creeps 2. So
that's so
I don't
weird.
think it worked out.
Why did they?
I don't know. Marketing is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because they do it with video games as well. They make a whole video game and then at the last minute just decide it's going to be, oh, well, let's make this video game and pop. And they did it with like, Hellraiser they do it with. Fair lot.
Yep.
I'm watching the Zombie Town trailer now. I have seen this film back in my...
Oh, have you?
No, I haven't. No. Looking at it now,
okay.
No.
Scrap that.
It looks rubbish. It looks like it's a bloody film school film.
Yeah.
That's not even on bloody film. On bloody 4 to 3. All right, that's it. Shall we move into horror news? So each week, me and Jen take you through the horror news that you need to know about. Welcome to Horror News. So, Jen, story number 1.
Well, so this one was over at Dread Central. Looks like Starship Troopers, there is a reboot in the works, possibly with Top Gun 2 director.
Now, are you a fan of Starship Troopers?
I fucking love Starship Troopers.
Yeah, so do I.
I watched it the other day, actually. I love it so much, and I do not feel that it should be remade.
I don't think it... Yeah, I feel it still is good. Like, it did that thing when it was at the peak of CG. They used CG, but they thought about it and went, what's the best looking CG? And it's non-moving fleshy things, which is what all the bugs are. So, bugs are perfect for it to make the CG look good. And they just went to town on it because it's based on a novel, which is quite different.
Quite different.
Mm. And and they just turned it into a massive kind of like a big commentary on consumerism, on television and government and stuff like that, and conscription. Is that what it's called? Conscription.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's very tongue in cheek. It's like that whole line, like, "Would you like to know more?" Like, and that was before internet. You know what I mean? This is before all the sites that's going click here for more and all stuff like that. And
well, the thing about this film as well is it has a very nice. It does pay homage to, again, a lot of those films from the 1950s. Just the way it is set out, it does not feel like a strong action film of its time. Like, this is definitely very tongue-in-cheek. It's very satirical in a way with how it is done. And that's what I love so much about it.
Yeah.
I think that because obviously there were like several sequels. I don't know how many. I've not watched any of them. I don't know. I honestly don't feel that this does necessarily need a reboot. The film is just perfect the way it is, even down to the hideous vagina brain slug at the very end.
Oh, I loved him. And like NPH, like
it's so baby face too.
It's a fray because the film is basically like a teen. It's like paying out those like best friends college drama. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At the end, they all actually she's just had like I think there was a spike put through her shoulder. So what was that lady's name with the big eyes? Denise Richards?
Denise Richards, yeah.
Yeah, so she's had a spike go through her shoulder, which is seriously like, it's as fat as like, you know.
It's big.
Yeah, it's a big fat spike. And at the end, she's just there. She's just got her arms around her two best mates, just walking like them, laughing and leaving. Going, yeah. And like, what about the hole in your shoulder, love?
You're right.
But that was all like done on purpose. Like the whole point was like how stupid stuff is. Like, and there's so much nudity in it as well. Like and it had all that like the mixed showers. I thought it was really good. Like nothing mattered in this world. It was cool.
No, it was all the same. And also we had the good old Michael Ironside in it.
Ironside.
Being a badass, he always is.
And the violence, man. The bit where the dude takes his helmet off. Do you remember in the training bit and he gets shot in the head? How horrible it was.
Yes.
And I was like, and it was like full, just like, I was like, yes. And
like, violence. Oh.
Yeah, and like, you know, when they go in, get the bugs and like people get ripped in half, arms fly off. It is CG, but it's kind of forgiving because it's that first time. It's like that ending of Hellboy that we watched the other day. It's that kind of violence where it's all CG, but it's still in there. I mean, it's definitely, there's nothing like this film. I mean, have you seen the second one?
I haven't seen any of the others. I've only seen the first one.
And there's like full CG films, you know what I mean? Like, and I didn't even. Yeah. I got one and I started watching it and I seriously did like 10 minutes and I was so off what it looked like. I just turned it off. I'm like, I'm not going to soil the perfect like memories of Starship Troopers and. Oh, man.
Well, it leads you back to the just because you can doesn't mean you should attitude when it comes to CG.
Exactly. I mean, this is the exception to the rule, though. There aren't many films that I just go, it's perfect, like it's bad CG, but it still is perfect. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
And then remember the Rico's Roughnecks. What's the name of their? And they get it tattooed. Remember the laser tattoos and stuff? And like,
yes.
Oh my God.
Man, if only tattoos were that easy and quick.
Yeah, straight.
That'd be so much better.
So anyhow, they're gonna remake. Is it a TV show or?
No, I think it's potentially going to be. So it's still like rumors and hearsay. So Sony are looking to reboot it with Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, Tron Legacy, and Oblivion. So yeah. But also can you compete with someone who like Paul Verhoeven, who did Showgirls? Like
he did Total Recall. He did RoboCop 1. Talk about, we've got a whole bunch of RoboCop. He did Hollow Man. I enjoyed Hollow Man.
I haven't seen Hollow Man since it first came out, mostly because I really don't like Kevin Bacon.
And that nipple tweaking scene?
I don't remember that.
That's all I can remember. If you say Hollow Man, I remember the bit where he's like half and half, but I also remember there's a picture of a boob and he tweaks it and it shows it like, boink. He did Basic Instinct as well. So,
yeah.
The dude's got a, like, you know, the original guy has a buddy. He's got a crap ton under his belt. But yeah, I mean, if this is if they pull it off and it's in the same vein and it's kind of cool, it's just an updated version. To me, like, a lot of people like me and you and our age will think, well, there's no point. But like, if it's going to give a whole new generation the same vibe of what we got, I'm down with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind a remake. I don't like reboots. I don't mind a remake if it's like, you know, if it's just kind of bringing in a new generation of people. Like, if you think about if you don't like reboots, makes, then we wouldn't have got the John Carpenter's The Thing. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. That's very true.
So you have and Starship Troopers. When was that originally made? What year did that come out?
98, I think 98, 99.
So you're looking at 22 years.
Yeah,
like, that's fairly like fair enough. I mean, I know you said at the start maybe it's not a good idea, and I agree. But now I'm thinking about maybe it's fine. Maybe we'll get to revisit Starship Troopers with a new version of it. You know, a new
technology. I think it's just got to be the right person. That's what it forever and will always come down to for me. It's got to be the right person behind it. So there's no point having just some guy off the street who doesn't know. I think that's why the Avengers, and that's the whole other conversation, is like a lot of that worked because the people that were working on it are huge fans.
They should just get the original cut of the film and just put all the CG in it, redo that, and that's it.
Done.
Like,
Sorted.
just make it the most chronically good CG, and then we're like, and you'd watch it and you'd be like, it looks the same as I remember it, because you wouldn't remember how bad it looks. You know how they do when they remake video games now, and you can go back to the old video game with a button, like the old graphics, and you don't realize how much better it was until you do that. You're like, holy shit, it was crap back then. Maybe. But no, I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to do that. That was just a joke. So shut up, internet. Stop listening to my sick ideas. But yeah, Starship Troopers, I hold it very close to my heart. Beautiful film, fun,
and also Rue McClanahan's in it. So, you know. Yeah.
You get Is that the lady with the curly hair?
Yeah, Rue McClanahan from The Golden Girls. She plays a teacher.
Is her name Rumour?
Rue McClanahan.
But her full name's Rumour.
No.
Oh.
No, it's just Rue.
Rue. Weird name. Yeah. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's
definitely.
Let's just hope that it keeps going. So the original guy did Tron. He's done Tron Legacy, which is basically a remake of Tron.
Yeah. And then he did Top Gun 2, which is basically
Maverick.
Yeah.
Is that why that word?
Did that even come out?
I don't even know what that is. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was happening, but maybe it's out and we all just missed it because it was. I don't know.
Might not have been bad. I can't see it being as iconic as the first one, and it's in a time where no one really cares about jets anymore. Have you noticed? As a kid, I used to think jets were sick, and everyone's like, jet culture, yeah, volleyball. The most homoerotic volleyball game in the entire world. But
right,
it's pretty good, that scene.
Sure.
You know that scene needed more dicks out.
I'm surprised there weren't any dicks out in that one, honestly.
Or Maverick, maybe that's what it was missing, a swinging dick.
Maybe.
And then Oblivion with Oblivion's the Will Smith one. Is that right? With Jaden Smith as well.
Where they're on that. Tell you.
Yeah, where they're on that. On the planet. I think it was quite. It's one of those films that I think it was quite cool. I'm just going to look that up, see if I'm correct in my assumption. The answer is no.
It's the Tom Cruise one.
What's the one I was thinking of?
You remember? I have no idea. I know what you're talking. Like, I can picture the trailer in my mind, but I couldn't tell you what it's called.
I will be able to do it by just using my mind and not using IMDb. I'm going to work out what. Keep talking, Jen.
Yep. So, also heading into the next news segment.
It was called After Earth.
I'm glad you got there in the end, Dan.
I got
That's all that matters. Terrible film, I hear.
That's all right. It was fine. It was just it was a solid science fiction film. Like, it just didn't do anything, worth
new or exciting.
Well, it looked great. It was science fiction. It had a start and it definitely ended. But that's as far as I can remember.
There was an ending in there.
Yeah, it didn't repulse me or anything. But yeah. Anyway, story number 2.
Anyway, yep. All right. So, Don Mancini's Chucky is heading to Sci-Fi next year. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is a TV. So this is a TV show, not to be confused. Which is when I first read it, I was reading it as I was just reading it as Sci-Fi, the movie station, whatever it's called, was just acquiring the old films to stream. And I'm like, not that much of a news article, but then I went, oh no, it's the new TV show we're talking about here.
So we're going to ignore the just bullshit film that was Child's Play from last year. And we are back with Don Mancini and Brad Dourif voicing Chucky. Yeah. And it's going to be a whole new TV series with the same characters, the same lore. So it's going back to what we all know and love. And I'm very excited. So they did a teaser trailer the other day, which it went for about 30 seconds, but it teased just enough to get everyone talking and everyone interested again. So I'm very keen. It's
a great trailer. So if people haven't seen it, it's just it's kind of panning back down through the toy. It's like an old toy shop, or aisle in a department store, the kids section, just panning down through it slowly and then turning around really quick and just seeing the silhouette of Chucky standing in the aisle, and then you get that really distinctive Chucky laugh. You know that.
Yep.
I can't do it. I'm not even going to try.
No, as soon as that laugh happened, I was just sold on everything and whatever's happening.
Yeah, because it weirdly solidified that it's an actual Chucky film. I mean, TV show. I'm going to say film forever.
Yeah.
Oh man, such a good vibe. Like.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the concept that they gave us was it's like a vintage Chucky doll turns up at a suburban yard sale in an idyllic American town. It's then thrown into chaos as a series of horrifying murders begins to expose all the town's hypocrisies and secrets. So I'm just excited that it's going back to the original kind of series, but it's kind of rebooting it in a way as well.
So the town has secrets. So the town's a fucked up town. And what you reckon Chucky's going to knows this? Maybe he's been fucked over by the town.
Maybe
It's his hometown. He was originally the Lakeside Strangler was from.
Maybe. Well, I foresee it being like a Stepford Wives kind of everything's just picture perfect and everyone's just fantastic to each other, but they're all secretly like fucking each other and doing drugs behind.
They're all in that movie Society.
That is going to be Society meets Child's Play. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And so, he's going to... I mean, you could get a whole series out of that. Like, the idea of, like, people kind of, like, not knowing who the killer is for the majority of it. So we still get the indulgence of the doll and that, but he's a bit more stealthy in this one than he was in the films, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he might even reference that, you know, I might keep a loyal profile this time so I don't get, melted. But it would be good to see if he's got damage the whole way through. I
was going to say, I mean, you've got instead of it being a 1.5 hour film where you've got a 15-minute period of him getting fucked up, you've got maybe an 8-episode series where he could just get fucked up the whole way through, and you could just watch it for 8 episodes, Dan.
Yeah,
you'd be very excited.
And because he doesn't really have rules of real people. Yeah, he stuck a knife in his hand at one stage. He chopped off his hand. He attached a knife to it. I expect there to be a lot of doll carnage in this, and they're better.
Yeah.
And practical effects as well. I assume they're going to do some CG effects and that, but I'd rather you didn't. I wouldn't mind, if they're going to use CG, he might do a little bit on his face, on an actual doll, do the eyes or something like that, which I always think looks great, stuff out of Hellboy, when they did those original Del Toro films, when he did that stuff, they were real men in the... or Pan's Labyrinth is a classic example of Pan. Yeah. He's a real character, but he has CG elements to do things that, you can't do in real life. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. The eyes and the legs, how it works with the stilts and stuff like that. But it's still there in real life. You're still filming something. But, a bit of, gore. I mean, he could even melt him, and he could, kind of re-come back. He might be able to jump in between. Maybe he can jump into other things. So,
I think it's also, it sort of opens it up because we have the fact that it's a vintage doll, and also it makes me sad that I'm in an age now where things that I know and love are vintage. But just the fact that they're teasing it in a toy shop as well, it kind of makes me think that they're going to go down this little collector kind of road where we can have a look at collectors today in a horror sort of sequence.
Yeah, that might work. And they'll probably able to get a whole bunch.
Culture is huge right now.
You probably able to get a whole bunch of really good nods to collecting in there as well. They'll have really rare toys in the background and stuff like that. Vinyl Cape Jawa and stuff like that. But back in the day, through the peak of Chucky being Chucky, when Child's Play 2 was out and it was all wicked. The Royal Adelaide show went Chucky mad, and they had all these Chucky dolls that you could win. So they were do you remember them?
I don't.
So they were the hard Chucky head. Their head looked perfect, but then the body was kind of soft. I
remember those dolls. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got one of them, and I thought it was great. And then I went on a scuba diving camp because I've done everything weird in the world.
You have.
I went on scuba diving camp, and I just took this doll along with me. I thought it'd be funny, and you could do something with it. And what I did is, when we were learning to scuba dive, you had to scuba dive down 10 meters into this tank, and then take your gear off and put it back on. That's part of your training. And I tied the weights to this Chucky doll and dropped it down into this 10-meter thing, and the head was the head was like it was hollow, but it was sealed. And so when I went down this far into the water, the whole thing just imploded, like, and like just went, sucked into itself. And when it came up, it was just a piece of shit. It looked so scary and wet, and like, and that's my child's play story.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so good. So I'm very excited. Jennifer Tilly is also on. I think she's signed on for it as well. So we'll probably see the character of Tiffany come back, which Bride of Chucky is such a great film as well. So I thoroughly enjoy that one.
So you reckon we'll get the Tiffany doll?
I think so. But I mean, the way they it depends on where and how they're going to go through, because I think the films like The Seed of Chucky and Curse of Chucky or whatever the other ones.
Bride of Chucky?
That was a good one.
Bride of Chucky was good. That was the one where they go... Like, Seed of Chucky was the one where they had the David Bowie kid?
Yeah. Yeah, that one
like,
was...
the complex, and even do you remember, like, how fucked up he was at the end, and even Chucky was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That was great, I thought.
And that film's starting, so basically what's happening with, like, Scream 4, with Halloween 3, all these people are like, oh, yeah, this wasn't actually that bad. People are starting to sort of talk about that film a little bit now and going, oh, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
The Seed of Chucky?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. That was the one where it was like the poster with Chucky like reaching down into the pram with a little hand coming out. Yeah, I thought it was a great film. Like that's one of the Chucky's. That's probably my second most watched one, like apart from number 2.
Yeah.
And then there's some other ones that they weren't that good.
Goes in these weird directions as well. So I'm not sure if they're going to continue or just sort of like pretend that they didn't happen. I don't know. There's still a lot to learn, but it's all going to be very exciting.
Well, the main, what I would do is I would just start at like only 1 and 2 have kind of happened. The other was kind of got really meta and weird, and you know what I mean? Like, and if you want to stick traditional and then start your own like lore, you know what I mean? Like with the TV show, you just want the basis of like those first 2 films, I think. Or even maybe the third one with like Andy growing up in the military camp.
Then you don't get Jennifer Tilly though.
Yeah, you're right. So probably they have got, maybe they'll bring her in as like, they'll introduce her and do her story again. Like,
yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Cool. The possibilities are endless. And I love it.
It is true. It's I always say Schrodinger's video. Schrodinger?
Schrodinger's horror.
Yeah. They're all the best horrors we've ever seen until they come out.
It's true. That's great.
And they're also the shittest ones at the same time. Exactly. We never know. You never know.
Gives us something to talk about, so whatever.
It is true. Oh, and the third, we got three stories this week.
We do. It's not really a story. It's just a shout out. Arachnophobia turns 30.
That's a story.
That is a story.
I can't believe it's 30 years.
Arachnophobia.
Did you know I actually I didn't even know if this is true. This is just one of those rumors. You know, back when we were young, there was only such things as rumors. But the majority, I think, of the spiders were Australian huntsmans.
Really?
That they bred, yeah. So if you look at them, they're just huntsmans, which is still fucked.
Well, they're fucking huge.
Oh, man,
like we have some huge. I just remember fucking John Goodman. This whole film just being such a shit, and I love it.
But do you remember at the end when there's millions of spiders all over the house? They're real spiders. They're huntsmans.
Yeah.
And apparently, I think heaps of them got bitten so many times. Like, 'cause there's so many of them at the end, which is great to know about.
One of the characters, I think, Julian Sands. Yeah, Julian Sands, who plays the professor in the scientist. He basically has this scene where he is covered in spiders, and they're kind of crawling in his mouth or out of his mouth or something like that. And he was saying about how he was actually he had no problem with spiders, so they literally covered him in spiders. So it's all real, none of it's fake.
So I'm heaps scared of spiders. It's one of those things, you know, my grey's fear, so I love spider movies because I am shit scared of them. Claire, my wife, kills all the spiders or puts them outside. I just go like, I don't, you know, I'm not like a mouse. I'm not like an elephant when a mouse comes in, but like, I just don't go, oh yeah, I just don't want to deal with that.
To interact with them.
Yeah, and like, and there's they always fuck with me as well, spiders. Like, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I was sitting on my couch, like playing a video game, and I had just leaning on the couch, and my wife walks in. She just looks at me and just goes, "Sit forward now." And I sit forward because I had like a cushion under my head on the couch as well to keep my head.
Yeah.
And I look back, and there was a huntsman just sitting on the cushion that I was like, just had my head on then. And if it would have been right next to me, like touching my face, just watching the game with me. And and I got freaked out. And she's like, "Why are you so upset? Like, you're always going on that you want someone to hang out and watch games, watch you play games." And I'm like, "It's not the same. I don't want a spider watching me."
Oh, I mean, they give zero fucks, especially the huntsmans. I remember one time when we were young, we're sitting at the kitchen table having dinner, and this fucking huntsman just climbs over and up onto the table. And my mum just like shit her pants, and then obviously we killed it or got rid of it or whatever. But I never forget that, and how huge it was.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So if there are any people that are listening to us who don't reside in Australia, which are usually other podcasts, huntsmans are big brown spiders that we have here. They're probably our biggest spider. They're not like fat and big like a tarantula, but they do have like the leg span of, a lot of them have a leg span of tarantulas, but they're really thin, like kind of thing. So
they get real big.
Yeah, they're kind of dickheads as well. Like they're not poisonous. They bite you though, and they bloody hurt and give you a bad like welt. But you can't die for them or anything like that. You just don't want to get bitten by them because they hurt and they look scary. And they really love hanging out in houses. That's the thing. So there's always a huntsman on your roof or something like that. You'll look up and there'll be one above you, and you're like, "Fuck this shit."
Looking up now, there's no spiders. I don't have a problem with spiders, so we're all good.
But I really like arachnophobia for the reason is it's very grounded in reality. From the majority of the film, they're not giant spiders. They're not like, they don't make, they don't have a plan of attack or anything. There's no monster. Yeah, they're just spiders. There is one big spider, but they didn't make it too big.
No,
it's a little bit bigger than normal. It's probably as big as spiders probably couldn't get much bigger than that. Well, do you know there's like spiders in like deep rainforests that are fucking huge. They're they're very small bodies, but their legs are so long. They're like as big as like cats.
Yeah.
Like big.
Yeah, there's fucking huge spiders out there.
Yeah. So this spider isn't even like the one at the end. It does have a bit too much intelligence at the end. Like it knows when, it stalks people so that bit's a little bit stupid. But, it's got the old nail gun ending. That was always a great ending. But the majority of the film is set in so they really made it they just used a lot of real spiders. So if there were people that were arachnophobic watching it, they just couldn't watch it. It was a hit. It was in cinemas. Everyone knows about it.
It's produced by Steven Spielberg, so of course it was gonna hit cinemas, and everything he touches is kind of like, I wouldn't say it's cinematic gold. But it generally does pretty well. It's got the mark of Spielberg.
Yeah. So if the film come out and go, "Oh, it's by Spielberg," people will give a look into it, and also I think it gets more media coverage. It gets more accepted. Because he does have a massive lineage of really good films, so that's probably the reason. For sure. But I was just thinking, what are some of your favourite spider films?
There is a spider film. It's called Lavalantua. And there is also a sequel to this called To Lava to Lantula.
Really?
It's like these spiders that come out of lava, and it's a fucking ridiculous. I believe Steve Guttenberg's in it as well.
Oh,
that's such an enjoyable piece of shit film, and I think everyone should check it out.
Is it old or new?
No, Lavalantula came out in 2015, so I want to say that To Lava to Lantula came out 2016, 2017.
To Lantula.
It's so good.
My favorite is Eight-Legged Freaks with Arquette. He has a textbook Arquette jacket in that one, as we've talked about my David Arquette jackets.
Yes, yes, you have.
It had so many cool things back then. He's got the crusty demons, the dirt dudes getting pulled off the bikes by the jumping spiders. It has the tarantula reference at the end with like lumbering through to Incy Wincy Spider, like the music kind of. And yeah, just a great spider film. Stupid as fuck, but like, you know, and it's...
Oh, that's what I love about
Yeah,
it.
it's very tongue-in-cheek. It knows it's a stupid spider film. Like, they reference it multiple times. And that end scene where, you know, the whole town gets overrun by, like, giant... Because it's a giant spider film.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like the whole thing. I think the thing is that they get in toxic waste or something, and there's, like, a dude who, like, a spider scientist. So he's got all the sorts of spiders. So you get the cross-reference of all these great spiders.
Yeah.
All CG. Stupid fun, stupid. Dave Arquette. You can't go wrong with an Arquette film. So
It's true. It's very true.
You got another one?
Well, Tarantula, I see you've put that on the list as well. So the 1955 classic film, it's so good.
Do you know
it's just
awesome about that film? It's got an exclamation mark in the name of the film. Like, it actually has an like Tarantula.
Tarantula. Oh, yeah. No, that's a lot of fun as well, and it's basically just trying to make everything. They just film it so the spider looks so big, but it's really just
not.
And I like all those films from back then. So like them with the giant ants as well.
Yeah,
just the way that they just change the shots to sort of make this thing look so much bigger than it actually is, and it's not. It's just this tiny little spider.
And then them had like a spin-off video game called It Came from the Desert, like back in like the 90s. Which was really cool. And then they've remade it recently again. It's called like it From the Desert or something. It's another giant ant one. But yeah. Another shout out I want to do is like from 2007's movie The Mist. So it's not primarily a spider movie, but there is a majority of the film that have these alien spiders, like, you know, from another dimension, which is basically from, you know, Half-Life. But they go into like, they nest in this person and then burst all out of him at the end, and like, you know, the spiders they're fighting, like weird spiders as well, like alien portal spiders. But like, I thought that was a really good spider scene. Like, that spider scene was like fucked and wicked, and I'm just like, yeah, sick.
So good. Yes, more of that. There's also another film, it's 2019 film called Itsy Bitsy. So it's based on like this family move into a secluded mansion where they find themselves being targeted by an entity that takes the form of a giant spider. So very similar to the poem that we all know and love very dearly.
It looks horrible. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, and then of course there's like, you know, Charlotte's Web.
It still hurts my soul today.
And then none of us have seen it, but I really want to watch Ice Spiders from...
I know, we keep saying we're going to watch it.
Who was that? Why did we find that out? What director... I watched a film that that director did. Oh, yeah, I'm just looking it up now. Ice Spiders. Man, that dude has a name, doesn't he? Tabor? Oh, The Gate. That's right. He did
The Gate. Yeah.
Yeah, he did The Gate. Tabor Takas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ice Spiders. Looks like the most ridiculous, over CG'd, stupid giant spider film from 2007. I believe it is I think it's the sequel to Spiders that he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so he did one in 2013 called Spiders 3D.
Yeah, okay. Yep, sure.
So it might be, it might be not the sequel. He might just have a hard on for spiders.
For spiders. You never know. This film, Ice Spiders, is actually streaming on Tubi. So if you've got Tubi, you should probably just stream it from Tubi.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So we've worked out our homework from... What was it we're going to do?
I think we're gonna check out Brandon Cronenberg's The Possessor.
The Possessor?
The Possessor, yeah.
All right, so everyone out there, if you do follow our homework sessions, next week we're going to be talking about The Possessor by Cronenberg Jr.
Yep.
David, was it?
No,
that's
Brandon.
Brandon. David Cronenberg is the normal guy.
Cronenberg.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Why would you ever call your kid Brandon? That's what you'd call like a keys hound or a you know what I mean? Like if you get a dog name or something. Remember Brandon from 90210?
No.
It's just it's like the budget Brandon.
It's a 90s name. It is a very 90s name. So, you know, Brandon. Yeah. Brandon. He sounds like a heartthrob.
He sounds like it.
Yeah, probably gonna,
We're going to end up being a chud. But anyhow,
he's gonna have some issues.
Anyhow,
they will be resolved.
It's true. We are TerrorVision Horror Podcast. You have been listening to us for about an hour and a bit or whatever. I have no idea how long. We are streaming on all major podcasting services out there. So go over to your favorite one, whatever they all are, Spotify, Apple, all of them. We're up on them all. Give us, if you like what you've heard, leave us a comment, give us a star rating or follow us. All those things help us a lot. So please do that. We also have a YouTube channel where you can go over there and give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. It all helps with the analytics. We're on Spotify. Did I say that? Stitcher, all of them.
Yeah. Wherever good podcasts can be found.
Yeah, wherever you hear podcasts, you'll see our bloody idiot faces. No, you won't see it. You'll hear our idiot voices. We have an Instagram, so go over there and search for TerrorVision Pod. We're up there. And we have a Facebook, so join our group. Is there any personal housekeeping you'd like to do, Jennifer?
Not yet, but I have a whole fuck ton of t-shirts coming, so give it next week, and then I'll be like, come check out my Instagram for all my new shirts.
Oh, that's right, yeah. What is your Instagram?
It's Jennifer Rose, so I even have to look it up now. I can't fucking remember what my Instagram is. It's a good question. It is JenFrrose. So it's just at that. And then I have cool shirts, and I got even cooler ones coming.
You are a horror shirt aficionado.
It's true. I've wasted a lot of my money. I've not. They're fucking great shirts.
I do enjoy seeing your shirts when you come in, and I actually own some shirts because you just can't handle not buying presents for people when I get awesome shirts from you. You are the best gift giver in the world. I am the worst. I don't even give gifts to anyone.
No, that's fair. I only give gifts to people I like.
Oh, excellent. That means I'm on that list.
Yeah, you've got a gift coming, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So if you want to hear a bit more of me when we talk about video games, please head over to YouTube on Hack the Dino. Search for Hack the Dino, and you'll find more stuff with me talking about video games and the Hack the Dino crew, playing video games, talking about video games, doing the video game news, doing everything video games. So if you're into video games, I can't say video games more times than I just did.
Are you into video games now?
I've heard about them. I heard they're a new craze sweeping the nation. That and the yo-yo.
Oh, Dunkin' yo-yos.
Yeah, Dunkin' yo-yos. I used to have one of those Coca-Cola champions. Remember the competition yo-yos, the championship ones?
Yes.
I had one of them.
Yes, I do.
I got pretty good. I can walk the dog. I can do rock the cradle. I can do all those tricks. Or at least I did. I used to be able to. I assume that every skill that I've ever acquired ever in my life, I'll be able to do to the day I die. So until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.